The Law of One, Book 1, Part 26, Session 13 continued. Questioner: can you tell me how the individualized infinity created our galaxy, and if the same portion created our planetary system, and if so, how this came about? I am Ra. We may have misperceived your query. We were under the distortion impression that we had responded to this particular query. Would you restate the query? Questioner: I'm wondering if the planet system that we are in now was all created at once, or if our sun was created first and the planets later. I am Ra. The process is from the larger in your illusion to the smaller. Thus, the co-creator, individualizing the galaxy, created energy patterns which then focused in multitudinous focuses of further conscious awareness of intelligent infinity. Thus, the solar system of which you experience inhabitation is of its own patterns, rhythms, and so-called natural laws which are unique to itself. However, the progression is from the galaxy spiraling energy to the solar spiraling energy to the planetary spiraling energy to the experiential circumstances of spiraling energy which begin the first density of awareness of consciousness of planetary entities. Questioner: could you tell me about the first density of planetary entities? I am Ra. Each step recapitulates intelligent infinity in its discovery of awareness. In a planetary environment, all begins in what you would call chaos, energy undirected and random in its infinity. Slowly, in your terms of understanding, there forms a focus of self-awareness. Thus, the logos moves. Light comes to form the darkness, according to the co-creator's patterns and vibratory rhythms, so constructing a certain type of experience. This begins with first density, which is the density of consciousness, the mineral and water life upon the planet learning from fire and wind the awareness of being. This is the first density. Questioner: how does the first density then progress to greater awareness? I am Ra. The spiraling energy, which is the characteristic of what you call light, moves in a straight line spiral, thus giving spirals an inevitable vector upwards to a more comprehensive beingness with regards to intelligent infinity. Thus, first-dimensional beingness strives towards the second density lessons of a type of awareness which includes growth rather than dissolution or random change. Questioner: could you define what you mean by growth? I am Ra. Picture, if you will, the difference between first vibrational mineral or water life and the lower second density beings which begin to move about within and upon its being. This movement is the characteristic of second density, the striving towards light and growth. Questioner: by striving towards light, what do you mean? I am Ra. A very simplistic example of second density growth striving towards light is that of the leaf striving towards the source of light. Questioner: is there any physical difference between first and second density? For instance, if I could see both a first and second density planet side by side in my present condition, could I see both of them? Would they both be physical to me? I am Ra. This is correct. All of the octave of your densities would be clearly visible were not the fourth through the seventh freely choosing not to be visible. Questioner: then how does the second density progress to the third? I am Ra. The second density strives towards the third density, which is the density of self-consciousness or self-awareness. The striving takes place through the higher second density forms who are invested by third density beings with an identity to the extent that they become self-aware mind-body complexes, thus becoming mind-body-spirit complexes and entering third density, the first density of consciousness of spirit. Questioner: what is the density level of our planet Earth at this time? I am Ra. The sphere upon which you dwell is third density in its beingness of mind-body-spirit complexes. It is now in a space-time continuum, fourth density. This is causing a somewhat difficult harvest. Questioner: how does a third density planet become a fourth density planet? I am Ra. This will be the last full question. The fourth density is, as we have said, as regularized in its approach as the striking of a clock upon the hour. The space-time of your solar system has enabled this planetary sphere to spiral into space-time of a different vibrational configuration. This causes the planetary sphere to be able to be molded by these new distortions. However, the thought forms of your people during this transition period are such that the mind-body-spirit complexes of both individual and societies are scattered throughout the spectrum instead of becoming able to grasp the needle, shall we say, and point the compass in one direction. Thus, the entry into the vibration of love, sometimes called by your people the vibration of understanding, is not effective with your present societal complex. Thus, the harvest shall be such that many will repeat the third density cycle. The energies of your wanderers, your teachers, and your adepts at this time are all bent upon increasing the harvest. However, there are few to harvest. Questioner: I would like to apologize for sometimes asking inappropriate questions. It's difficult sometimes to ask precisely the right question. I don't wish to go over any ground that we've already covered. I noticed that this period is slightly shorter than the previous work sessions. Is there a reason for this? I am Ra. This instrument's vital energy is somewhat low. Questioner: I am assuming from this that it would be a good idea not to have another session today. Is that correct? I am Ra. It is well to have a session later if it is acceptable that we monitor this instrument and cease using it when it becomes low in the material which we take from it. We do not wish to deplete this instrument. Questioner: This is always acceptable in any session. I will ask my final question. Is there anything that we can do to make the instrument more comfortable or aid in this communication? I am Ra. It is well. Each is most conscientious. Continue in the same. I am Ra. I leave you in the love and the light of the one infinite Creator. Go forth, therefore, rejoicing in the power and the peace of the one Creator, Adonai.